had to walk away. From the very first words, DG Mula sets the tone. This is a moment of realization. He's acknowledging change, growth, and the fact that tomorrow won't look like today. There's frustration in his voice, like he's waited too long for this shift. But there's also a sense of disappointment. Too many broken promises, too many people who said they'd ride but never did. As the beat kicks in, his delivery is raw, almost wounded, as if every bar is pulling from a well of experiences he's tried to leave behind. The weight of betrayal lingers in his cadence, but so does resilience. He's not just venting, he's making a statement. The pain has fueled his hunger, the setbacks have sharpened his focus, and now he's done waiting. This is his moment, and he's stepping into it with nothing but truth, ambition, and the lessons the streets have taught him. But beneath the hunger and ambition, there's an undeniable inner conflict, a tug-of-war between the heart and the mind. He misses someone, that much is clear, but deep down, he knows they were never meant to stay. The love was real, raw, and intoxicating, but holding on would have meant more scars, more sleepless nights, more battles that never had a winner. Walking away wasn't just a choice, it was survival. He raps like a man who has made peace with his decision, but still feels the ache of it late at night. The memories creep in, uninvited, making him question if leaving was really the only way. Yet every time doubt rises, he reminds himself, some losses are necessary, and sometimes love isn't enough. And now he's tired of waiting for change that never came, tired of holding on to words with no action. This is the moment he realizes that love alone isn't enough. If one person refuses to grow, the relationship is doomed. No matter how much you pour into someone, you can't make them want more for themselves. He's seen it too many times. Potential wasted, dreams sacrificed for comfort, people choosing to stay the same while expecting everything around them to change. He's done making excuses, done hoping for someone to wake up and see what he sees. The pain in his voice isn't just heartbreak, it's exhaustion. He's given all he could, and now all that's left is the road ahead. This is the breaking point. He once believed in a future together, but growth requires movement, and while he was elevating, they stayed the same. Pride is a killer. It holds people back from real change, and when one person refuses to move forward, the other is forced to walk away. At some point, love turns into dead weight, a burden that slows you down rather than pushing you forward. He had to choose between staying in a cycle of empty promises or stepping into the unknown to chase something greater. It's not just about a failed relationship, it's about self-respect, about knowing when enough is enough. He wanted to build, to elevate, to turn pain into power, but he couldn't do it with someone still clinging to the past. He realized that some people only love you when you stay at their level. When you start climbing, they either rise with you or try to pull you back down. And when you refuse to be held back, you have no choice but to cut ties. So this is more than heartbreak, it's a transformation. The old him would have stayed, would have tried to fix something that was never meant to be whole. But the man rapping these bars, he's done trying to save people who don't want to be saved. The only direction now is forward, no matter who he has to leave behind. Even after leaving, there's still a lingering hope. What if they had stepped up? What if they had changed? It's a rhetorical question because deep down he knows the answer. But that doesn't erase the pain of wondering what could have been. That what if plays like a haunting melody in the back of his mind, echoing through sleepless nights and quiet moments. It's the kind of question that doesn't beg for an answer, but still refuses to fade. The hardest part isn't leaving. It's knowing that things could have been different if only they had wanted it as badly as he did. If only they had fought just as hard, sacrificed just as much. But they didn't. And that's the real heartbreak, not the love lost, but the love that was never fully realized. He knows he made the right choice, but that doesn't mean he's immune to the memories, to the moments that still feel like unfinished pages in a book he had to close too soon. Maybe in another life they would have grown together instead of apart. Maybe in another timeline they would have met at a point where they were both ready. But in this life, he's moving forward, and they're staying behind. And as much as it hurts, he knows some stories aren't meant to have a happy ending. Some are just meant to teach you, to shape you, to prepare you for what's next. This is a powerful statement of self-respect. He's not perfect, but he knows his value. He was willing to build, to love, to invest in something real. But when someone doesn't appreciate what they have, they lose it. He's not begging for them to see his worth anymore. He already knows it himself. There was a time when he would have done anything to make it work, when he believed that patience and love could change everything. But now, he understands that love without reciprocity is just self-sacrifice. He refuses to keep pouring into someone who only takes, to keep fighting for a connection that was never balanced. He gave chances, time, and understanding, more than they deserved. And now he's reclaiming his power. This isn't just about walking away, it's about standing firm in his own growth. He's done shrinking himself to fit into a space that no longer serves him. Done waiting for someone to wake up and realize what they had. Done losing sleep over a love that was one-sided. There's a sense of finality in his voice, a quiet strength that comes from knowing he made the right decision. The hardest part wasn't leaving, it was realizing he had outgrown them long before he walked away. It was accepting that sometimes people don't change, not because they can't, but because they won't. And that's not his burden to carry anymore. He's not bitter, he's better. He's not angry, he's at peace. Because when you know your worth, you stop settling for less. And now he's stepping into a new chapter, one where he doesn't have to convince anyone to see his value. They'll either recognize it or they'll watch from a distance as he rises without them. Love alone isn't enough. You can love someone with everything you have, but if they aren't willing to meet you halfway, sacrifice, or grow, then love turns into pain. He gave it his all, but in the end, he had to walk away. It wasn't an easy decision. It never is when love is real. He fought for them, held on longer than he should have, believing that maybe, just maybe, things would change. That one day, they would wake up and realize the weight of what they had. But love isn't just about feelings. It's about effort, commitment, and the willingness to evolve together. And when only one person is doing the work, the foundation starts to crack. He ignored the warning signs for too long, convincing himself that love was enough to fill the gaps. But love without growth is a slow, painful decline. It becomes a cycle of giving and hoping, only to be met with disappointment. And the truth is, no matter how much he loved them, he couldn't make them love him the right way in return. Walking away wasn't about giving up, it was about choosing himself. He had to accept that he couldn't save someone who didn't want to be saved, couldn't keep setting himself on fire to keep someone else warm. The realization stung, but it also set him free. Because real love isn't supposed to drain you, it's supposed to inspire you, push you, bring out the best in you. Now, as he moves forward, he carries the lessons but leaves the pain behind. He no longer wonders what if. He already knows the answer. If they had truly wanted to grow, they would have. If they had truly valued him, they would have shown it. And if it was meant to last, it wouldn't have come at the cost of his own peace. So he walks away not with regret, but with clarity. Love alone wasn't enough, but he is. Written by Forrest Bridges.